Welcome to another episode of Underneath the City Lights with Eddie Dynamite. I am your guy, Eddie Dynamite, man. And tonight we got a very, very special episode, man. I'm talking about get your pens and your pads together because school is in session tonight. Man, today I got two special guests with me. You've seen them before on here several times on the show. Got Mr. Johnny Richey. Mr. Johnny, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing all right, my brother. Thanks for having me on. Hope we can get some good understanding on this topic that we're finna go with.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we also got coming back to the show, making the second debut, is my guy, the Scorpion King. You saw him come back before when he was telling you about the health, you know what I'm saying, getting on your health joint. He got another big health podcast coming up pretty soon. We got talking about this sugar and the diabetes is going to be, he got a presentation that's extreme. But tonight, we coming serious with y'all, man. We doing this Antarctica, man. But we gonna give much love to my guy Scorpion King, holistic healer and metaphysicist. You know what I'm saying? Good to see you, man, tonight. How you doing, my brother?
Peace, family. I'm blessed and highly favored, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, fellas. All right, now we ain't gonna play around with it. We gonna get to the bottom of this now. You know what I'm saying? Now, in the news lately, before we get to this, before we start talking about Antarctica, we talking about a place that thousands of years, they say the Polynesians was the first to see it and set foot. They say Francis Bellinghausen and Nathaniel Palmer was the first to actually see the land. They said John Davis and Mercator Cooper was the first ones to put their feet on it as far as the Western, and that's in the 1820s, which we know that's somebody had to step on it way before then. But that's another topic. We get to that later on. But Antarctica has been a mystery and almost an oddity and a curiosity to man for many, many years. You know what I'm saying? It's just something about Antarctica that's, that has us just engaged sometime. And there's some things about Antarctica we think we know, but we really don't know. So I know y'all gonna come and bring it tonight, but it's before we get into that. I want to share my screen. I want to pull up two articles and two things that I've seen. I want to pull up this video first about some scientists that were just caught in this base in Antarctica just recently. And I also have a news article that has a little more added to it, and I'll let you guys go ahead and expound on more, so you can let me know, so you can take me from the top. But I want to play this first for y'all because I really want y'all your opinion on this. Let me share my screen right quick. Okay, share. Okay, and let me go to
Its information is not reliable, and you can't use it in your paper without.
A team of research scientists working in the Antarctic have reportedly made a desperate appeal for help after they say a colleague threatened to kill one of them. The South African team are totally isolated at the remote research base, thousands of miles from South Africa. Winter is fast approaching, and that means it will be months before the team can be changed. Here's our climate correspondent.
The Sunai Base is one of the most remote places on Earth. 10 people were preparing to spend the Antarctic winter here. The base has plenty of amenities, as this video tour taken 4 years ago shows.
And here we have the games room, right, where all the fun happens.
But extreme weather and 24-hour darkness meant the current team didn't expect to see another human being for 6 months or so.
Now today, the wind's about 30 knots and the temperature is about minus 28, minus 29.
Then, an email last week claimed there'd been a violent attack, according to the South African newspapers. The email reportedly said one team member had threatened to kill another, creating, it said, an environment of fear and intimidation. The South African authorities have confirmed there was an assault. It was a dispute over a weather-dependent task that required a schedule change, they said. It doesn't sound much, but those who've spent time in Antarctica say overwintering on a base can be an incredibly intense experience.
If you're there with just, maybe 10 other people as there were in Sinai, you get to know everything about the other person. You know exactly how they put their coffee cup down and what direction the handle points in. You know that they scratch their nose 3 times before they sit down. You know everything about them. And in the bad circumstances, it can start to irritate you.
The South African Environment Ministry has said it is responding with utmost urgency, but with temperatures falling and the weather worsening as the Antarctic winter draws in, getting a rescue team in will be very challenging. Justin Rolat, BBC News.
When you want junk to disappear, all you have to do is point. 1-800-GOT-JUNK is going to disappear the first item.
Kill this and get back on. All right, now this is a little bit of the article. Let me show you a little bit of the article that they had posted. Okay. Share my screen. Okay.
That's crazy.
Now with this article, they said the overwintering team, a group that remains in a remote and extreme environment during winter months, knew that 10 of their 15 months at the base would be spent in isolation, but now may be in danger from one of their own members who may be accused of being mentally unstable. I'm not going to go into too much of that. I mean, we pretty much got the gist of what's going on. So what the hell is going on in Antarctica, man? What's going on with these scientists? First of all, they got these now. Besides what's going on with what we just heard with the guy attacking and the sexual assault and all this other crazy crap that he got going on, why are they down there with these below temperatures? They in here. What are they looking for? What is going on? This is, in the spirit of our African of our elders, you know what I'm saying, and our people. I'm gonna let the elders start off. Mr. Johnny, what you think about that? Give me your opinion about that, man. Antarctica. Tell us what the hell is going on with Antarctica, man.
Well, I know in 1947, when Admiral Byrd went over there after the war, when Hitler was trying to take over the world, as you know, they sent a fleet over there, like 20-some ships, 400, 4,000 troops, something like 20-some, 30 airplanes, and Admiral Byrd was leading the fleet over in Antarctica. And he kind of opened the door in 1947. All these scientists, they have all the leaders of Russia, Germany, America. They even got the Ford company over there. Any big time, I would say, and the weird thing about it is they got all heads of states over in the Antarctica. And I was going to say that the Rothschilds are over there, British, and they're saying that they found cities underground and they are awakening some of the frozen bodies of the people from Atlanta now. And they had unthawed out a couple of these beings. And these beings are very powerful, they say, but I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to get into is why they're really over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a hoax that they unthawed some of these beings.
Mm-hmm.
I think their real reason being over in the Antarctica is because of the planets.
Okay. Well, now what you
How
now
to
when you
get
say now you would say tri-planets. I mean, now what you mean by that? When you say tri-planets.
okay?
I know,
They have.
I know you sent me a map, so I'm gonna post that whenever
I
you're
want
ready.
you to post that, and I wish you would have to post that before we started on this conversation, because it's really strange that 4,000 or 5,000. There you go. That 4,000 or 5,000 scientists are over there.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they over there? It don't take that many to unthaw some of the Atlantis beings of 30,000 years ago, 40,000 years ago, whatever lion time frame that they put on this. You can't believe nothing they say.
Right.
Nothing. They lie about everything. But people now are starting to get very, curious and inquisitive about what's really going over there in Antarctica, and that this alien base that they found out that's going on, that's just in the Antarctica. What about the tri-planets?
Mm-hmm.
Earth, uh, 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 they told us the truth years ago when they had Atlas holding up Earth,
Mm-hmm.
which is your second of the tri-planets.
Mm-hmm.
I can spell the third one.
Mm-hmm.
Name the third one, Eddie.
I think it was Occupien. I think that's what it was when I looked it up.
Absolutely. Now, that's 6 times the size of planet Earth and 2 times the size of Atlas.
Accupura, that's the name. Accupura.
Accupura.
Akupara. For those
Yeah.
that's doing research, doing that, because you need to do more research after this.
And I don't want to be too long. I want to give my brother time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But what I want to say this here, to complete my thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
is there's 4 entrances to Atlas.
Okay.
From the Ice Age on the other side of the wall. And you got the tiger, the snake, then you got the Cinia, excuse me. It's 4 ways in there. Magellan had traveled over there. And I was telling you when we were on the phone that Nostradamus and all of these big wheels that has done researches on everything, they're supposed to be some smart, Europeans,
Mm-hmm.
that they traveled over there. I was wondering why all of this information was just given only to the Europeans, your Magellan, your Plato, your Nostradamus, and all of these type of people. I can keep naming them, but I want to hear what my brother got to say. But at the same time, they all been over here.
Mm-hmm.
They all have entered these walls. Now, I'm not saying that this is something that this is a theory.
Mm-hmm.
This is the theory. So we have to keep it as if though, because I ain't never been over there, and I ain't never been to none of these planets.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know one thing, except for Earth. That's where I'm supposed to be from. But I do know one thing, that why they need 4,000 people over here in the Antarctica, and what type of experiments that's going on. And I needed you to show not just that, which is very good, that particular video, but I needed you to kind of go into some of the beings and what they have in each one of these triplanets and how many is in our solar system. So I think this is what they're hiding. They're not over there on no people from Atlantis and all of that. I think that's BS.
Right.
I think this the triplanets and how they found how to get inside of these planets from Earth ice wall in the
So let me ask you a question. So you feel like, so what you're telling me is these four entrance-ways or these four portals or what you're speaking about, or this trifecta, this planet almost like look like a snowman, almost like you describing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's bigger as it goes down. That's what I'm thinking, right? Little, small, then big, then bigger. Like ours is the smallest, right?
it's
So
like a snowman.
so are these portals that they able to go to from one planet to the next, or is it a Stargate? I mean, how would they move, or is it somewhere you can just literally a land bridge? I can go from one to the next.
It's not neat. It's see they trick you with this scientific stuff called portals and dimensions. You can take a ice scoot or some type of machine that can drive on snow or ice and go through one of the four portals. Portals are not necessary dimensions. It's like, is it a dimension if I drive from my house to your house?
Right.
That's not a dimension. That's not a portal. Going from North Carolina, South Carolina, to California, to Vegas, to Arizona, it's not a portal. It's not a dimension. There is no dimensions or portals to get from Earth to Atlas, and from Atlas to the third planet that's in our solar system. It's just you have to figure out how to get there. They're not portals nor dimensions. You just have to travel and know how to get to some of the places that leads you to that place. I don't call them portals.
Right. So before I get too deep into, like you said, because now you're taking me to another place, and what you made me think about is the hollow earth discussion, because all that kind of goes hand in hand. But before I get too deep into that, Scorpion King, give me your rundown. What you think about that with the trifecta, what Mr. Johnny just chopped it up about?
Yeah, so to add on to what Mr. Johnny says, I think he's on point with a lot of things that he's saying. As far as what I seen from that video, there's something that I stumbled across 3 months ago. And I'm just gonna read it. It's gonna coincide with what Mr. Johnny's saying and what's going on that part of the planet. So for one, there are a bunch of countries that is over in Antarctica right now, studying this hollow earth, studying this hole. But besides that, they're studying a lot of things over there, elements, energies, all kind of things. So I stumbled across this, which is public, and it was published by NASA. Now, my interpretation of NASA is never a straight answer. And that's why you see videos like that. Right. So we're going to try to put things together and come up with a straight answer. So this was published on 12/13/2024, about 3-4 months ago. NASA scientists detected parallel universe next to ours where time runs backwards. All right. So what would that say about the people that's going over there exploring and things happening. So, in the icy expanse of Antarctica, a groundbreaking experiment has uncovered astonishing evidence of a parallel universe, one that operates on completely opposite rules of physics. This discovery could redefine our understanding of reality and the cosmos. So, you're going to see a lot of non-reality things going over there. Once again, which is why you see what you see on the video. You know, there's certain energies over there, there's certain elements over there, there's certain bacteria over there. You know, some people could breathe in certain bacteria and, you know, start to, you know, trip out or bug out, you know, but yeah, that's my interpretation of what may be going on where I see in that video. There's different energies going on around there. A lot of people got to understand that that place is preserved. It's been in the ice for hundreds and thousands of years. So there's a lot of things that's over there that need that they are, you know, looking to uncover and find these elements that we know exist to change the world. But I'm gonna give it back to Mr. Johnny to have him drop the science on these, you know, with that map that you put up and these entrances, because there's a lot of facts in that too. A lot of people think that a lot of this stuff is theory, but when you look at a lot of ancient texts, all different sources of people, they all depict this place, and they all depicted going inside and many different entrances to this one place. So yeah, there's something definitely going on over there that people should open their minds to, because this could potentially be a creation story for
I was
humanity.
about to say that you took the words right out of my mouth, because when me and you spoke earlier, just off camera, you said something to me. You said, this is our creation story, and 20 years later, 20 years in the future, they're going to admit that. Give me more insight what you mean by that, because I thought that was real heavy when you say creation story. That I've never heard anybody put that comparing to the Antarctica besides Mr. Johnny. You know what I'm saying? And just in those, not in those same words, but in those same thoughts. But for you to say creation story, why would you say that? In 20 years later, they gonna admit it. But give me the first part first. Why you say creation story, and then tell me later why would you say 20 years later then they will admit it? Just that particular, for you to pick that particular time.
All right, so the reason why I say that is because when you look at science, just look at everything. Everything starts from within and comes out. You know, we 9 months inside of something, then we come out. You put a seed in soil, plant, it comes out. We crack eggs every morning, what comes out? So there's always something that comes out. So with them creating this understanding of always looking up, the best hiding place could be right in front of your face. So when you talking about like other worlds and different planets as well, you can get to these places beyond the ice walls and these entrances as well. But they tend to have us think that it's so far away, and it's so, you know, it's the places you can't get to keep us locked and looking up and discovering everything up and not discovering nothing that we're standing on and nothing under our foot. You know, so I came up with a theory. You know, maybe God said, let there be light, when we actually came out of the planet and stepped on this surface. I mean, we see this everywhere. I mean, people could look at the Discovery Channel as civilizations of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, all kind of, you know, thousands of people that formulated cities underground. You know, so that's my understanding of the concept of inside coming out, because that's how creation starts and things start to unfold and unravel.
I like that. I like that egg theory. I like that. That's heavy. That's heavy. Mr. Johnny, would you give me some insight on that? What you feel about that? What you feel about Scorpion King saying that that's almost like a creation? He feel like this is almost a creation story with the information coming out of Antarctica.
The brother's on point. to understand the beast that's pretending to be human is a distraction of our consciousness inside of the metrics.
Yes, sir.
And this hologram. He used dimensions. He used the hologram. He used religion to lock us in a certain state of mind. When we learn and come out of that state of mind, when we come out of the hologram, when we come out of the metrics, we can see that we don't have to look up. We're already in the universe.
Right.
We're right here in the universe. We don't have to understand from his point of view that we're looking up at a star. No, we're not. We're seeing the star in this position. The position of the star is like the position of Arizona and California. They put us in a state of mind to where that we can't comprehend where we're at. When we see the tri-planets, when we know that the ice age over there in the Antarctica, beyond the wall, when they go through them, they have all nationalities of Earth. All nationalities of Earth. You got Kemet over there. You got Japan, China. You got Australia. You got all nationalities and ethnic groups that live in those tri-planets. Dinosaurs are not existed. They're over there. Big birds that look like, let's just give them the size of a damn helicopter. We don't want to go with a 747. That's pretty big. So we just gonna keep it in the reality. The size of a helicopter. They do got birds over there. So, but this is theory. I ain't never been to the Antarctica. I ain't never been to the tri-planet. But see, what's going on is this is spirituality. I used to tell brothers all the time that when they opened up the internet and when they got down and started on all of these, the Facebook and all of these different social networks and stuff like that, I said, they're not the only ones that are entering information. And let's just say Earth, okay?
Right.
They're not the only one that's entering information in these social medias. See, the awakening, man, of the spirit of the souls, it's deep, and it's way out there, and it might sound like without receipts, and that's what we need to bring. And without receipts, people might see it as this Negro or this Chinese or this whatever, who's ever on social media. What we're doing now is all out there in left field.
Well, let me ask you a question. Okay. With you naming these specimens and these type of things that may be out there, and we got Chinese, white, black, different type of all these nationalities, different nations and countries out there over there in Antarctica, doing this research, and really, like you said, we know what they're really behind it doing. Are they just some thought that I had? Are they gathering any of those people, those specimens up, and maybe invest in doing research on them, or how are they dealing? Is it a people that's allowing them to come into that? Because it's a podcast that we did uh, probably three or four back that me and you talked briefly about Admiral Byrd. And you said it was a people that Admiral Byrd, when he got there, when his ship went into this hollow earth, they froze the ship. He couldn't go anywhere. He was stuck. And they basically shut him down, and he had to come out there and greet them, whatever. But they basically took control of everything. So if it's some people that's powerful enough to do that with Admiral Byrd, and we talking about now with people like that, do you think that, are they studying maybe technology from this people that may be over here from these other races or these other species of people that they may see there? Or are they learning anything about the agriculture to try to bring back? I mean, what in your mind? I mean, what are they dealing with? Any of those people? I mean, give me some feedback. What you think about that?
Well, you got to remember, just in 19, you got to remember in 19, I would say 27, during the First and Second War, that it was the Antarctica only been locked down for about 60, 70 years. Then you got to go back to Magellan's time, which is your 1500s. Then you got to go back to Nostradamus' time, which is a little over 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. Then you got to go back to Sheba. You got to go back to Barama, who have houses and places in Shambhala and Agatha. See, don't get locked into their metrics. We have to have a vision. What was going on 2,000 years ago? The hell with the Antarctica right now, today. The 4,000 or 5,000 scientists and all of those structures they got over there that you got to be escorted. You can't go over there by yourself because they don't want you to see reality.
Right.
So when you go back and we look at the Aluma Lish, when we look at the Book of the Dead, when we look at the book that I sent you by the from the Himalayas. Right. When we look
Tibet, from Tibet,
the book of
the Tibetan Book of the Dead, right?
And when I showed you this, that woke me up to this right here on that question that you just asked me. What do I think? See, in the Antarctica, what Admiral Byrd found, what Magellan found when they were sailing, see, they didn't have no restrictions. They can go over there, and they could go through those ice walls that has openings, but they shut them all down. But they also wrote what they saw. And some of it is froze in time to where that they don't want people to understand what's really going on over on the other side of Earth. And what I'm thinking, and what I have also been thinking for a while when I started studying all of this stuff, that we are forgetting about Earth real history. They got us locked in. They got us locked in from school and from high school, from college. They never mentioned none of this. So all we're doing here is getting a job, working, paying taxes, praying to Allah, praying to Jesus, praying to Buddha, or whoever your religion is, and they have us locked inside of a matrix. and a hologram that we can see
Mhm.
what's going on in Agatha and Shambhala.
I'm gonna pause you right there, Mr. Johnny, before you get too deep, because I want to ask Scorpion King something. I want him to touch on that too.
Okay.
Scorpion King, going off of what Mr. Johnny just said, um, about these beings and now he just made me think of a question that I want to ask him too, but I want to ask you this first.
Yeah.
Um, do you the original state of man, maybe when I mean the original state of man, I mean metaphysically we talking, the because we always like to say the technology we had in the past is better than we have today. You know what I'm saying? So in those caverns or in this hollow earth or in this in this inside of these this not Mr. Johnny said not portals, not dimensions, but just baby, just walkways, just entrances. Is any of that technology, those Polynesians and those people that were back there that really touched bases in there, did they maybe even get anything from them? Maybe like the wheel, you know, like you say, motherfucker discover the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere, you know what I mean? Did they find this type of stuff here? Because we thinking, okay, this person, we can say this, they pinpointed this or they made this or made that, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say is can we point back to this place being where the original technology of man is from?
All right, good question. So I would say this. So when we talk about time, right, we got to deal with the time before even the ice was frozen.
Okay, okay.
So there was a time where Antarctica was depicted in maps before 1820, before Admiral Byrd and these people discovered it.
Mm.
Not only that, like how you mentioned, these other civilizations and people, talking about this, for I was just speaking to a good friend of mine, and we was talking about the Bible and how even the Bible nowadays is something different from what it originally was in the beginning. It was, people kind of writing down what's going on in their history. So in Job 32:29-30 refers to the ice as something that came from the womb of God, hidden like a stone. So that also tells me that Antarctica was frozen for a reason. There's something special going on over there. There's something powerful going on over there that we're not ready for yet. The reason for them doing that is because when wars broke out over here, just like when wars broke out in the etheric world, they needed their protection. So a lot of the pyramid, this is why we see pyramids in Antarctica too, and we can't figure out who made the pyramids. So these higher beings, which who we was at one point, when things got hectic for us, and when we also wanted to explore other places, we traveled, and we happened to travel there and find many things. As far as the state that it's in now, frozen and locked down, once again it goes back to the creation story. Maybe something will return over there. Maybe we'll unlock some energy over there to keep this planet going, or what we really need. So that's the best answer I could come up with that right there, as far as you asking me, is there something that can we point to a direction and say, hey, these is the people that know. Everyone knew about it at one point in time. Like Johnny said, things have been hidden from us, because if they don't teach us the origins, they can't lock us down anymore. Once we find out, hey, we can go to a place that we could explore, free land, free this, free that, they can't lock us down anymore. Why do people also got to understand that no one owns that area over there? Why is no country fighting for that area over there? Why is nobody going to war for it? Because there's something big over there that'll tear everything off, that tear everybody up. that they're, and also you did say something to Giant that I wanted to add on too. Yes, when Admiral Byrd did go over there, so when Admiral Byrd was driving his plane, so Admiral Byrd wasn't one of the only ones that went over there. You got a few people that went over there. You got a husband and wife that went over there, and they were followed by the government. And when they were followed by the government, these people actually led them to there. So this was something that the government and people didn't really know about. We at one point in time we were just exploring land. You see what I'm saying? So then while we was exploring, we came up with this, but it just so happens that because Admiral Byrd was who he was, a high-ranking Navy officer, it went public. And then that's when Johnny talks about the Operation High Jump, when they sent 3,000 men down there to shut it down and kind of explore, and they've been exploring ever since. You know what I'm saying?
That's when they shut it down.
That's when they shut it down and sent everybody over there, and they've been experimenting on it since. So when Admiral, go ahead.
Let me remind the people of something.
Class is in session, folks. Class is in session.
America is only 200 or a little over 200 years old. The Ice Age just started over there in the Antarctic about 6,000 years old. Before there had been a war, and it was deliberately done, which I don't believe. That's what history says.
So what do you believe how the ice came?
I believe the Ice Age being in the universe. Remember, when you go up, 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 shit freezes. This is science. In order to have the triplanets on top of each other, it has to be a level of not just interests going in and out of them, but how do you separate something like that? With ice.
With ice.
Because in the universe, planets are frozen, and when you go inside of the planet, there's what? Heat in order to get there. And if you don't have the right machinery, you could burn up. So I don't know. I just think when you're dealing with those type of subjects, you have to bring receipts. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a metaphysicist, but I've been studying for over 55 years. And when I ran into this particular subject, my spirit spoke to me. My spirit said, don't believe none of this hype that you hear.
And listen, that's crazy that you said that, because when me and Scorpion King spoke about, because I asked him the same thing, you know, what got you interested in that? He almost said the same thing. Like when he found this information, it was like, yo, whoa, like this is it. This where it's at. I mean, this really is the truth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how did it make you feel? Can you elaborate more on that form, Scorpion King? If I'm really speaking, I'm trying to put it in your words, but you right there to tell them.
I mean, yeah, you know, other doors lead to other doors. So when you start searching, I think there's a question that everybody has, you know, where did I come from? How did I get here? You know what I'm saying? So when you start going into your history and start thinking and learning things that they didn't teach us in school, like why hasn't anyone taught us anything about inner earth? Yeah, what they told us was it's a crust that nobody got to. It's so hot down there, you can't even live down there. And you can tell me so much about the universe, but you can't tell me the depths of the water. So that right there was like a light bulb, like, hold on, what are they hiding over here? And then, as I kept going deeper and deeper into that, what really got me was the underground civilization, Planet Agartha, where they said this place is, this is from what was in Admiral Byrd's diary, from what he recorded. So for the people who want to know the story, they could go. Admiral Byrd has news clips, and he has a lot of photographs and videos from him on his escapade to the North Pole, to the South Pole. So this is not something that's like made up, where the man didn't go on the news and actually say what he saw, but couldn't really say as much.
What's the name of the book? Is it a journal, or is it a title, or something that people can look up, or they
So it's pretty much a diary. Just look up Admiral Byrd's diary. Admiral Byrd's diary. So he did this book, and supposedly his son found it when he passed away, and then put it out to let people know, hey, this is what's really going on that part of the planet. I mean, it's just a light bulb. We know about everything else. I'm telling you about what's going on at my neighbor's house, but I don't know nothing about my house. It doesn't make any sense.
It don't make no sense, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing about not having the receipts, because we ain't never been to Agartha, we ain't never been to the South Pole or the North Pole, we ain't never been to Shambhala. We only seen these particular sites on video and defectives, the people that want us to know the truth.
Right.
So they're called defectives, and they defect away from the government and say the people need to know this. Those are the only receipts that we have. But your spirit will tweak you and say that's real or that ain't real.
Right.
Through our you call it meditation, you could call it the Akasha records, you can call it whatever you want, or our ancestors speaking to us. But one thing for sure, and one thing is for certain, that we know, if you got any sense, that we are also aliens to the aliens that we call aliens.
Now, what you mean by that, though?
What I mean by that is, when you understand that the people that are here on Earth, on this planet, we see them and they look different from us. They see us and we look different from them. You have so many species that are here that basically have not encountered one another. Humanoids are different species that live in our own surrounding and are alienists to us, and we're alienists to them, but we're all from the same place. I'm not saying that every species that they're showing us are from the tri-planets. But what I'm saying is that they have thousands, bro, from my study and my understanding of different species that live right here on Earth that we call aliens, and they call us aliens, because who knows who's from where? When you deal with Dr. Malachi Yark, and when you're dealing with my beloved brother Rod Hayes, Richey on 363 Black Magic, and Dave Calloway, they're all kind of saying the same thing, and that we are not from Earth. We're not from Atlas, and we're not from the other third planet, that we were brought here and seated here. So who's the alien, man?
Right.
You got beings that's been here for billions of years, bro. We are billions, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that 76 trillion years ago, a black scientist blew the earth up. Now, that was some of his taking from their God called Master Farah Muhammad. So these stories that comes from Elijah Muhammad, Master Farah Muhammad, the Illum Alish, this what is it called? The Varma Visa, the Hindu book. It's the Book of the Dead, the Dead Book of the Dead. They all is saying this kind of the same thing, just in a different language.
Right.
So when we go in deep dive inside of these particular subjects, it's hard to come out with receipts. But one thing about it, if you in your right mind, it's going to ring a bell, or it's not going to say nothing.
Right.
I do know one thing, that I do believe in what the brothers and sisters are saying about the tri-planets and in our solar system, the Milky Way, whether it's further out from our solar system, that we are tri-planets around here in the Milky Way. And when I was telling you earlier, it's Mars, Uranium, Saturn, or they're all tri-planets, or they're all hollow. Well, they said the moon was hollow, and that it's actually a spaceship. That's what they say. What do my spirit tell me in my right mind? You know what I'm saying? That NL and Italy brought that there. What about the Anunnakis? See, these stories are not doing this. But when you look and read and study, you can see that Atlas is named after Ra, Amun-Ra, Thor, and all of that. Some of the continents is Ra, Amun-Ra, Thor. It don't confuse me. It just makes me sit back like I'm doing right now and say, wow. It makes me wonder, bro.
Right.
Did they know about this? But remember, America's only 200 some years old. The Antarctica been over there for millions and billions of years. So there's been people over there without America, without Russia, without Germany's permission. They didn't have no control over the Antarctica then, like they do now. And let's just even go back 300 years ago, 400 years ago. America and Russia and Germany did not have no control over there. So people sailed over there. People went over there, and people stayed over there. And their ancestors that are dead now have children over there beyond the ice wall.
So going back to something that Scorpion King said also, that you just sparked that when you said that about that, Mr. Johnny.
Yeah.
And I want Scorpion King to answer, but I also want you to answer too, because I want to get your perspective. As you said something earlier in the conversation too. Do you feel like any of these beings or these I'm not even going to call them extraterrestrial because that would be outside of Earth. You know what I'm saying? These are terrestrial beings. What you speak of, this is still on Earth.
They from here.
Right. So are they intermingled? Are they maybe intermingled into our society some way? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Are they mixing with our people? You know what I mean? You see some people look weird, like hey, you look like this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I always wonder, do we have that? Because we can't see maybe off just off the eye, just our straight eyesight. I remember Andre 3000 said in one of the raps a long time ago. He said, "Alien can blend right on in with your kin. Look again, because I swear I spot one every now and then." So that made it seem, that always made me think about that line, like, these motherfuckers really mixed in the mix of us. How do y'all feel about that? Coming from speaking about these beings from Antarctica.
Well, me being a nutritionalist and knowing about health, I can 1000% guarantee tell you this. 1,000,000,000,000 cells live in our body, and only 1 out of 10 are human. So our genetic makeup is already non-human anyway. So everything that's in us is the same thing that's in everything. We are the Egyptians, we are the Anunnakis, we are the Sumerians, we are the Pygmy. So these are just evolutionary things that took place as we evolved and as wars broke out as well. So yeah, most of us are across that other side, doing whatever, like Johnny said, we ain't never been over there, but to know that this place was on the map at one point of time, and that there were actual people living over there, but to not say anything about these people over there, and to now start discovering as the ice is starting to defrost, that there's Greenland in their civilization. These are facts. We can look this up right on the computer.
So why do they want to hide this from us? Why they don't want us to know that this is? I don't seem like that would be something that'd be so major that you know what I'm saying.
Well, we so deep into, like Mr. Johnny said, we so deep into not really, we so deep into the wormhole. So to climb out of it, is people feel like it's gonna take them longer. So it's like it's like we just so lost. It's gonna take a long time for a person to even. It's only gonna take things that resonate with people through the spirit to be like, oh, okay, let me see what this is about. Other than that, a lot of people are not really gonna pay this much attention because they're not broadcasting it as much as they're broadcasting other things. But if they start putting an eye on it, people will start focusing and people will start waking up. They the ones that control the media.
Right.
And then that's gonna debunk and see with that, with also telling us the truth.
Mm-hmm.
They got to make themselves out to be the liar. Who wants to make themselves out to be the liar?
Right. That's true. I mean, do you think it'll ever be a time that they're gonna reveal what's going on, or it's always gonna be a secret ops type mission?
Well, the direction the world is going in, where we got, I think it will be revealed, because it is just like 20, 30 years ago when they were saying aliens is this, and the government never said a word about it. They swear up and down it's lies, it's not real. Now we got all these declassified information. See, the government, the army, the Navy, these people study everything first, and then they wash it down and hand it over to us.
I got something I want you to look at that I pulled up too. Let me share my screen because I want to get you and Mr. Johnny's opinion on that. They had two. They said one thing and then they tried to pull it back. This is an article that I saw not too long ago. Let me pull this up so you can see this. There we go.
And then if people want to know why this is important, is because this is also funded by NASA. Where does all our billions and millions of dollars go to? Fund NASA. Do they tell us anything? Do they show us anything? Proof? Do they say, hey, this is live footage over here? All these drones, all this technology we got. Nobody wants to say, hey, look at this.
Right. Right. Not at all. You don't never hear anything about that at all. You're right. And like you said, that is money that we spend, and we should be privy to this type of information. You know what I mean? If you really out there
Exactly.
doing that. So
I truly believe, like, because there is a lot of science that I did study, and what Mr. Johnny is saying, the three rings. You know what I'm saying? The three rings, there are three different worlds. And within these three worlds, you will have to find a way to get there. You know, some of these places you can't even get to. You know, you really got to go through some rough terrain. Like, some of these places are fire cities. Some of these places is like death zones. You know, some of these places it's not an easy journey. It's not something that you could just think, hey, I'm gonna pack a bag, get on a boat, and ride to this place. Nah, you got to really be prepared. And like how brother Johnny said about, you know, people having you know, there's some people who even had children over there. That's a fact. William Morris, he actually had a daughter. William Morris was an explorer who actually went over there, and he actually came in contact with one of the beings that were over there. You know, they were like us, like humanoids, and you know, they was able to share information, and you know, they was trying to understand our world, and we was trying to understand their world. So people also got to understand that this goes both ways. While we're trying to find what this is, they're trying to find out who we are as well. You know, and then as far as when you said something earlier, did we do we make deals? And of course, this is one of the things Emerald Bird did. He had made a deal with one of the entities over there, and once it got leaked out, that's when they say you know, Emerald Bird all of a sudden got sick and he died. They were saying like he got killed because he actually leaked out some of the technology that he got when he went over there and met with one of the masters.
He defected.
he defected, right? Is it in what did they mention about what type of technology it might have been?
Well,
Not that I stumbled across.
Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
they had chips that took control.
Just look at the technology now. I say this is what I tell people. I say if you want to really understand your history, also look at what we see today. It's very simple. If we look at what we see today as far as our conditions, as far as technology, as far as, you know, these cars that drive themselves, our technology spiked very fast
It did.
out of nowhere. Where did it come from?
From them.
You know, and this is just part of living. We have to, and see, it sounds crazy to people because it's like, oh, like I said, they looking at us like we looking at them. If you
Right.
never seen a certain bug, right, and it walks on your you know, on your steps or whatever, you're gonna look at it like, oh my God, what's that? Because your eyes sends it to your brain, and then your brain register what you're seeing through memory. So only things that we don't see accustomed is so like far fetched to us, like, oh my God, how, you know, like superheroes. People wouldn't believe that we have the same superpowers that you may see the people have on the TV. You know, they just be so like, oh my God, that's not true. I can't do that. And that's where we limit ourselves. That's where we limit ourselves.
That's heavy. That's heavy. So going back to my question that I had before. Now, this is what I wanted to bring to you and Mr. Johnny. Now, they say this particular pyramid in Antarctica. Now, first when I first read the article, they said this was a remnant of a pyramid, that they have a pyramid like structure. Now they're calling it. Now, first they said pyramid. Now they're calling it a pyramid like structure, like it's a mountain that's shaped this way, just naturally. You know, that's exactly what this is. Now, I'm gonna go to the latter, the original, what they said, because this looks like a pyramid. I don't think this looks like no original mountain. Like, this doesn't look like a natural structure the way this looks. So, what is y'all opinion? I heard Scorpion mention something earlier about pyramids out there in Antarctica. You know, this is the only picture that I've seen of anything they could see be close to a pyramid that they have out there. What y'all think about that,
There's
Mr. Johnny?
hundreds of pyramids
Mm,
in the Antarctica,
mm,
buried under the ice and on top of the ice. the reason why they want you to think that there's mountains and that nature do not design blocks, slices, and all of that. Those pyramids are humanoid made for structures, for living conditions, for electrical conditions, irrigation conditions. See, it's the same thing when they tell you after they brainwash you, they tell you that white supremacy, this is the beast that's pretending to be human. What they tell you is that white supremacy is better than any other ethnic group on earth. This is the same shadow that's behind the beast that's pretending to be human about the pyramid structures. When the Ice Age began, they said it was artificially induced from the Anunnaki War. That they had machines, laser beams. You have to look this stuff up. It's in the Illumalish, and it's in the Bhagavad Visa. And I've read these books. I scanned the Illumalish, but I read the Bhagavad Visa. I read the Book of the Dead, and I did find out some of the wars that they did have, and these wars, they had ships that they could shoot stuff down and freeze it. And they said that supposedly this would happen in Antarctica, but I don't believe that. What I said earlier about being in this universe, bodies of water will be froze to separate not just continents, but other planes. And that makes sense to me. So that's what I went with. About the wars that froze the Antarctica, I got to have receipts on that. I don't see enough evidence that that happened, that it was induced. So how do you induce something that is naturally got to happen?
Right.
So my thing about what the pyramids is that the same thing that happened in Kemet before they called it Africa and before they called it the Middle East. My thing that happened in Mexico, it was America before they called it Mexico. My thing in over there in Brazil and all of that, where they got pyramids and where these ancient people would tell you that they're star seeds and they were brought here to collaborate and to put all of these things together. It's like a puzzle.
So let me pause you right there to ask you a question. So you said there are 200-300. Like you said, there are hundreds of pyramids in Antarctica. Okay.
Yes.
So who built these pyramids and why did they build them? Where are they stargates? Were they homes? Were they living in them? I mean, who built these? What species built with these pyramids?
I think there were different structures to do different things. To some of them led out irrigations. Some of them electrical. Some of them were communication devices. Some of them had stargates in them. They were different types of structures like we have today.
Right.
It's just the structures that we call ancient. See, they cut us off on technology. Hundreds and hundreds, maybe millions of years ago. The technology hundreds of thousands and millions of years ago was way more advanced than we have today. How is that? How do we decline instead of advance in technology? Somebody cut us off.
Somebody cut us off. Right.
Somebody cut us off.
Right. So Scorpion, what do you feel about or do you share Mr. Johnny's sentiments about the pyramids?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they were all built for different things. That's why they were all different sizes. Some of them have structures inside to send energy out. So it was energy field, kind of like how we got our energy system. So yeah, I definitely agree with what Mr. Johnny's saying. To say exactly who they were, who did it, I wouldn't say. I would just say that they was advanced species of people.
So in these pyramids,
we are.
So inside of these pyramids now, I don't know if how deep y'all research go into going inside the pyramids, but are there hieroglyphs inside of there? Are there writings on the wall? Are there markings inside of here? Is it any drawings anywhere inside of these?
I didn't send that to you, Eddie.
No, I didn't see that. You sent me something about that?
I sent you a mile down inside of the pyramids. They had technology that they never seen before that ran the pyramids.
Yep.
I didn't send that to you.
You did share that with me. You did share
That's
that with me.
the one you need to put up.
Yeah, you did share that with me.
I shared that with you, that they had just found this 2 or 3 months ago.
Right. I saw that one, but it didn't. It was dealing with the pyramids in Egypt. I didn't know if it was the same.
There's a power plant under the pyramids that ran the pyramid.
So that was the case for them all. The same thing for them all.
And they're under all of them for different types of like Tesla. He tried to create a machine that would light up a whole city,
right,
in a area 100, 500 miles away, just from dealing with the energy of Earth. And
that's a great example.
And they either killed him or wrote him off.
Right.
Because Duke Energy and other electrical companies ain't going for it. They got to charge you.
Right.
And so, like I said, we were cut off.
And I don't even mean that's also heavy with the power plant being and every, like you said, the energy structure being on them, because I have a question about that too. But before I get into that, I meant as far as just maybe some writing, some figures, some symbols or something that gives some kind of idea who these people may have been or who this species might have been that did this. Is no writing nowhere. No, nothing.
Well, as far as who built the pyramids, my knowledge says that the Anunnakis actually built the pyramids. Now, to say the Anunnakis, the Anunnakis was multiple different species of people. So that's why I would keep it at the higher civilized, the advanced species of people. Because the human can't even figure out how they were built.
Exactly. That's why on some of my subjects, when I be speaking to Eddie, we are the Ritz.
Right.
And they seeded us. They also mix with the original Africans that were here, our ancestors, and the original Native Americans.
They fell in
that
love
were
with the
here
people here. Yeah.
in America for millions of years, that it's not African descents. Our DNA is not African.
I would
Our
love, I would, I
DNA
would, I would love to bring y'all back on as we can do a presentation about that, because that was a heavy between both of y'all. I had that conversation, and hey, listen, y'all got to hear this, because this is real. This is real deal. They break this story down. I gotta bring y'all back on for that. But go ahead. I started interrupting, Mr. Johnny.
Yeah, that's okay. Our DNA is not African. Our DNA, see, Dr. Malachi Yard said that there were 7 species, and there were mermaids and mermens, and I'm not going to get into that.
Right.
Or how that happened. But
we'll come back. We'll come back on. I'm gonna bring you back on.
This species that here's in America that they call Native Americans were jet black people. They was not from Africa. And the Brazilians that over in Brazil, they say that they were from Orion, not Ridians. And that's when Dr. Yark was speaking about the 7 different species of black people. So that's another story. But getting back to what I said at the beginning, man, which is my brother Scorpion King, which is I think is a very intelligent brother.
Yeah, yes, sir.
A very intelligent young brother. And we have not crossed on none of these subjects because he studied like I've studied. Like I said, I've been doing this for 55, 58 years.
Hey, when you brought the topic to me, I immediately called him and asked him would he like to join the panel, because me and him speak all the time, just like you. And he is very informative on the subject, just like you are. And for him to be as young, he's the first younger brother that I've seen that has this type of information. And when I talk to him about it, man, like he lights up about it, like, yo, hey, I got this. We sharing articles back and forth. Because you know me, I'm what they call a non-believer. You know what I'm saying? You got to send me some stuff. As you know, me and you, we've been studying a long time, Mr. Johnny. I actually met Mr. Johnny, for those that don't know, on a job that I had a couple of years ago, man. And since then, man, we've been like this, you know what I mean? Since I moved to Charlotte, you know what I mean? That's my guy, you know what I mean? And same with Scorpion King, you know what I mean? So it's straight love, but just more of a, when they say when you're looking for like-minded people, they gonna come together. You know what I'm saying? Birds of a feather flock together. It's just that means that's really a real statement. You know what I'm saying? But
exactly, out of the 12 disciples and the false religion that they call Christianity, you are what they call the doubting Thomas.
right, yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And I like that. Because when the so-called Jesus went to Thomas, and Thomas said, I don't believe that you him. He said, stick your finger in my side.
Right. Hey, and I give Scorpion King a hard time, just like with you. I give him a hard time too. He'd be like, man, you don't hear what I'm saying? Like, bro, come on now. You know what I'm saying? But But y'all know me. I'm also a man with an open mind. Just like I tell everybody, you can't this can't be the just the whole of your thinking. When you thinking just like this, now everything else is more thoughts and ideas, but you just stuck in this little bubble. So I like to keep it, like they always say, the rabbit hole goes deep, and it does. So we gotta can't dismiss anything.
And I want to add on there for the people who's listening, do your own due diligence.
Yes.
Don't take nothing that anybody is saying for face value.
Yes.
Don't expect us when we come on here to give you everything.
Right.
We're going to give you enough for you to do your own research. So you heard a few names today. You heard a few, heard a few areas. It's up to you people to do your own due diligence.
Yes.
And that's how we come together collectively. I don't expect anybody to be a follower or a worshiper to anything that I say. I want people to do their own work and come back and say, hey, what you said, and I found more. Let's add on. Let's build.
Right. What's our tagline, Mr. Johnny? Study and find yourself approved.
Study.
You must study.
Yep.
You must study.
Not because we on here on the screen saying it. You got to do your own. Take the names, what you hear, go do the study, and that's how you can resonate and see if it's for you, if it's something that you're gonna go further in, and then you may be on the next show teaching, adding on, and teaching us what we may have missed, and that's what this is about. Because I may miss something, and Mr. Johnny come, hey, check this out, or vice versa. I may miss something, and Eddie like, hey, come check this out. That's what we got to do. Each one teach one, and build. So that's my my thing for the people. Just do your own due diligence, do your own work.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Well, I got one or two more, and then I'm gonna let you go because I know we've been heavy. We almost gonna need a part 2 to this one here because we barely even scratched the surface because we didn't even get into the. I need to know the species. I need to know what they're working on. I need to know what I'm saying, besides Admiral Byrd, who else besides this couple. I want to know more about that couple you mentioned, so we're gonna definitely have a part 2. But before we get into all of that, I just want to know, do you think it's ever a time that and I know I kind of asked this before, but do you think it's ever a time that we really it will really just be common, these things that we speak about, especially with Antarctica and all these things, will be common knowledge and not just because a lot of our brothers, we already have hard enough time for them reading and doing what they need to do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about just, do you think this information ever be common knowledge, what we speaking about, that almost we going into this AI situation with these robots and this computer, everything controlled by this and technology controlled by that? Do you think it ever get to a point where these beings or someone say, okay, these people, we feel like, okay, they at least technology, they have what's the word I'm looking for? Technology sound enough for us to communicate with them on a daily, regular level. You know what I'm saying?
This is the problem. This is what Admiral Byrd came into when he went over there. Mm-hmm. When he met with one of these people, they told him that we failed as a human race when we dropped the first atomic bomb. Mm-hmm. And this is why, it's like kind of iffy with that, because are we open enough to receive? Mm-hmm. So most of us aren't open enough to even receive that information, but one day it will be revered because they are already revealing themselves. We're just looking at them as aliens, flying objects. They've already revealed themselves. Admiral Byrd also said that the being told them that when we dropped the first atomic bomb, we failed as a human race. They sent their troops out to send signals to tell us to stop destroying it, stop destroying the planet Earth, stop with these bombs and missiles, stop killing each other. You're going to mess everything up.
Right.
He also said that we met them with great force. So they already understand that most of us don't even have the consciousness to even understand. So it may take a long time for things to reveal themselves. And one of the main takeaways that I feel like is very important about Antarctica, besides the beings and everything, is the technology. It's the
Right.
technology. You got
Right.
technology that's been frozen. You got technology. I just read to you an article which people need to look into, the parallel universe, the backwards energy that they recently found in Antarctica 4 months ago. This is not something that's like mad long ago. No, they're recently finding this. They're recently finding a lot of different phenomenons and different things that just happen sporadically, like how you showed the first news clip of the guy just kind of bugging out over there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that. But as far as us actually stepping into it and them like here, I think we're not. I don't think we ready for that as of yet.
Right. 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 I like that answer. What you think about that, Mr. Johnny?
Well, it's also on the internet that most of the nuclear sites, Russia, China, Korea, Japan, Iraq, Israel, have ships hovering over them now. They can't even activate the nuclear weapons. They couldn't push the button if they wanted to.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because they're there and they shut them down. Because see, Earth don't belong to human beings. Earth belongs to many, many species.
Right.
That's ahead of us in technology millions of years. So I can have a cell phone. They can shut it down to where it don't work with their technology. The same way with nuclear weapons, the same way with master computers that they have in New York and that they have in the Himalayas. The Himalayas is very important. People need to start studying on the Himalayas because each species of human beings were given a certain job from our brothers and sisters that we call aliens to protect certain knowledge and protect certain technology. And it has been given to our descendants, and what they have done has got greedy, egotistic, which brings us to our time and day today.
Right.
On what's really going on. Why are we so lost? Why we decreased and not increased in technology? You sent me a video on how they froze light.
Right. Right. That was in China. Right. Right.
Yep.
And then then I told you since 1934 they just discovered in 1986 how to turn light. Remember? How to turn light into manifested into matter. Now, this technology took them 85 damn years.
Right.
78 years or something like that. Now, just think about this. If they just finding out now how to turn light into matter and how to freeze light, and we have decreased in technology, what did they have back then?
Right.
Light bulbs. They gave it to Thomas Edison because he was one of the higher upper in the Illuminati and in the Masonry, 33rd degree Mason, Benjamin Franklin, and all of these assholes that ain't discovered shit, stole it all from Egypt. Humans that's pretending, or beasts that pretending they're humans. You have to see what they're doing, and like I said, locking us into the metrics, keeping us into the hologram, decreasing us in technology. The technology, bro, that they had 400,000 years ago don't match the kindergarten knowledge that we have today. It don't match. It don't even come close. They had helicopters 500,000 years ago. They had jets 500,000 years ago. Then they tell us in the 1800s that the Wright brothers invented a goddamn airplane. Use my language.
Good.
This beast that pretending that he's human. These are your Pleiades. This is the war in heaven, bro. What is this war in heaven? It's a spiritual war to take over the tri-planets that we're on. See, we didn't see that. We didn't see that. We just thought it was about us. We just thought it was about black people. It's not about us. It's not about the Japanese. It's not about the Chinese. It's about Anunnakis. Anunnakis are Pleiades. Anunnakis are Orions. Anunnakis are Rits. Anunnakis are Andromedas. Anunnakis are what's the name of that 19th planet? It'll come to me. But anyway, Anunnakis are many, many, many species. And all of these stories have been mixed up. We were told by many people that have podcasts that it was Nabru that needed gold for their atmosphere because the ozone layer was depleting. But it was in Rits, and it was the planet Rit that needed. So we were confused on all of these stories. All I'm trying to show you is what's going on and how they're doing it. They're keeping us in lies. They're keeping us drowned in confusion so that we can't come out of our spirit to be developed to see the truth.
Right.
That's what they're doing. That's what all of this information is about. All of this information that they're bringing to us, that they're clouding in us, is to keep us confused. So if you think the map ain't upside down and right side up, it'll fuck you up, bro.
Right.
It plays with your mind. If the world is flat, then why they say it's round? See, these things that they're trying to get us to figure out keep us off track. The Paper Inquisition, 80 million people's killed trying to convert to Christianity. One of the most weapons that is detrimental and ain't got nothing to do with the atomic bomb. It's more vicious
Way more vicious, right?
than the atomic bomb, bro. Kill people to convert them to this controlling mechanism.
That's right.
Now, we got that history. We got the history of Columbia and Columbus. We got the history of the Georgia trade slave. We got the history. All of this, they feed us. And as they feed us, it dulls our spirit. We can't hear our ancestors because the beast that's pretending he's a human have struck us down, and he's done a damn good job.
That's heavy. That's heavy. Damn, they dropped the mic on that because that's real. That's real. That's real. That's facts. Hey, man. We got to just continue, like you say, to study, learn, do what we got to do. I mean, I ain't gonna keep y'all too long. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all time. You know what I mean? That you gave me. You know, y'all definitely put it down tonight. Like I said, we definitely got to do a part 2 because we ain't really even scratched the surface. There's way more questions than I have. I got way more stuff. You know what I'm saying? I got already prepared. But like I said, we can go on and on and on. But definitely, I want to bring you back again, fresh, crispy, so we can go on to another part 2 of this because I would definitely love to continue this conversation. But definitely, I want y'all to, everybody that's watching, stay tuned. We got Mr. Johnny. He's coming back. He got he's gonna tell us about stargates and the planet Ritz. You know, that's gonna be his next presentation for us. That's gonna be awesome. You know what I mean? He's gonna break everything down. He gave a little bit tonight here and there, but you're gonna hear even more when he comes back on and gives a full presentation. I got my guy Scorpion King. He's gonna come back on sugar and diabetes and the effect of our people, and he's gonna get a special one that he's been telling me about who and what is an ancestor, because it seemed like a lot of us got that twisted, you know. So me and him had a heavy talk about that. So I know he's gonna come on and give us some more game on that. And he got some more information for us, so you can definitely see him on. And I definitely enjoyed both of y'all guys tonight. I mean, this very informative. I hope everybody had the pens and paper out because I learned a lot, and I know people that didn't know anything, y'all basically took them from the bottom and brought them on up. And like I said, it's going to be a part 2 because I got even more questions, and I know everybody else does too.
And excuse me for cutting you off.
Yeah.
Illaloo. I don't want to leave my brothers and sisters hanging. Look up Illaloo and look up Ritz.
Ritz, okay.
Illaloo, they can go to Google. It's going to spell it correct. But Ritz is going to be spelled
RITZ, right?
QZ.
Oh, QZ.
The 19th planet in Illaloo. And that's where we were seeded from. And some of us were seeded from Lyra and Vega. So when we'll get into some of that. But I just wanted the brothers and sisters when I said that I can't remember when they said that it was Nebrua that was depleted in the atmosphere, the ozone. No, it was not Nabru. Nabru was part of Illaloo and Ritz. And it was Ritz that planet has depleted with the ozone layer. And I'm gonna stop right there because that's going to be a total another subject. We'll get into that.
Yeah. When you come back on, like I said, Mr. Stargates and the planet Ritz, we gonna definitely hear Miss Johnny gonna tell us about Ritz. He gonna tell us about these stargates on these pyramids and how they came from there and travel back and forth. We're gonna be very informative. So, you know, I mean, Scorpion King, if you got any time, I would love for you to come back and join us if you don't mind, either on that subject too. You know what I mean?
We're gonna break down. We're gonna break down. And last but not least, And I hope that our brother Scorpion King gonna take us out of here. But last but not least, it was the Ridians that that created the stargates so that they can travel faster into certain galaxies and stuff like that, and the wars that they had during that time. We're going to get into that, but that's going to be hopefully Scorpion King can join us on this, and we can all do a 2 or 3 week study or 2 or 3 day study on these subjects that we're going to bring to our brothers and sisters, our kings and queens, so that they can study and show they self-approve. And all we ask you to do is, we're not bringing no exact receipts, but one thing about it, when we get away from the metrics of this beast pretending that he's human and how he got us confused, our brothers and sisters, that we are able to unlock our spirit out of this metrics and see that sometimes you don't need receipts. Your ancestors speak to you. Your spirit speaks to you. You are the universe. You are the Akashic records.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me add on to that.
With that, Scorpion King, we're gonna let you get the last word, family.
Yeah, let me add on to that. So yeah, certain like how my brother Johnny said, that's a fact. Yeah, everything is not gonna come with a receipt, because with this English language, when you're trying to explain anything outside of this, you got to go deep inside within yourself.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
It's not for a human, another man, or anybody to tell you. It's not even on the receipt. The receipt is you. You are the receipt.
That's right.
And I'm signing out with that.
That's right. Hey, I appreciate that. Much love. We see y'all next time. Remember, study and show yourself approved. Hey, we love y'all, man. Hey, keep studying. Peace.
Kings and queens, let's do this.